Beastly Comedy, Canto 1.6. Disaster on the dreary dunce who into dungeons delves! Could I determine how to live by entering these rooms, with chamber pots and plywood beds, the portraits on the shelves, the vestiges of wasted youth in cells resembling tombs? Avoidance I descended where forgotten is my past, although denial of regrets our energy consumes. My hope was like a breathing sky, the car of errors vast, the sorrows rooted in the bog, the present moment lost, because I only saw the shrubs where birches cannot last, the winter harsh adorning my affection with its frost. Majestic moose, excited hooves, upon my moss cavort, I long to be encroached upon, expecting to be crossed, but cannot offer nourishment the saplings you have sought. Assaulted, squashed, and trampled on, my peaty innards spread, I shiver and release a fog, your vision to distort. The wind delivers promises, of laughter I am scared. Emotions cannot flourish, nor the pines alone mature. The stunted bushes growing roots, my sadness only shared. But could a life in solitude, forgetfulness ensure? In catacombs of loneliness am I considered free, in darkness drowned, delusional, believing I am pure? For I have seen a cell secure, the door without a key, and cages in the dingy cave, the safety felt inside. No changes in routines to cause anxiety or glee. The bulging bellies, tarsal claws of spiders we espied, withdraw towards the sickly light the corners of their keep, the ultimate defensive line where memories have died, although emotions pushed away, returning close to creep. The stony twins appear alike, a prison and a fort. But do embittered soldiers weep, or get uneasy sleep, protected from invaders or the demons they had sought? Have failures from their guilt escaped, by durance much desired, or is forgiveness only with the loss of ego bought? I did not know what measures grim tranquillity required, but having faced the quarters damp, I turned my head away, upset about the pining monks, in solitude retired. My comrade gestured at the cells where inmates silent lay, the passage with its mildew smell, reverberating sound. Their memories have gravity, the traumas greatly weigh, the mass containing misery their thoughts revolve around. The captive comets cannot reach the brighter glowing spheres, beliefs distorted, orbiting, to growing systems bound. The souls resemble neutron stars, collapsing on their fears, the time dilation altering perceptions of events. Existence near the core compressed, more ponderous appears. Entrapped in dreams of marriage failed, they vocalize laments, imprisoned in oblivion, remembering but pain. Each woman curses empty vows, each man desire resents, attachment like a sentence and affection like a chain. The faces are forgotten, but emotions may persist. Their warmth is slowly leaking out, malevolence remains. The suns that used to grace the sky, unseen behind a mist, the nebulous remembrances and remnants of despite, and pleasures past are faded dark, the dusty lips unkissed. The moulded bodies by the brook, whose eyes reflect the night, recalled the lives emotionless, but yearn to get them back. But these conditions are reversed, amnesic, shunning light, affected by a sentiment, although appearing slack, deficient in cognition and disordered mood displayed. They scour the cage for reasons, but infirm coherence lack. Convinced by his assurances, advancing less afraid, in visions of the vicious smiles, I followed to take heed, and hoped to learn the causes why intense liaisons fade. Behind the bars, the open door, a creature from us fleed, and trembled where the beetles meet, the chamber being dim. The insectoid, with human teeth, on darkness has to feed, its head a skull with skin attached, and bony every limb. The famished horror eating up its mind to stay alive, or nourished by its loneliness a sense of courage grim. In self-deceptive certainty he managed to survive, believing that in solitude emotions come to rest, though deeper into grievances the spirit has to dive, in search of blissful emptiness, oblivion, or zest. And sinking in the shady thoughts, the pressure is increased, the surface of the sea unreal, the conscious mind depressed. I shuddered at the slurping mouth and feared the lurching beast, because I seemed to recognize my anguish in its shriek. Confined in open rooms I wait, to die or be released, as though the body was a shell, the future always bleak. Where have I lost the crystal years, the joyous vision clear, when it was not impossible against abuse to speak, and troubles seemed resolvable, no matter how severe? Am I about to scuttle like monstrosities resigned, to live alone contemptuous and frozen in a sneer? Yet dredging up a melody, a hope that we are kind, the spider sang a sad refrain, defeated by remorse, the cycle of repentance and defiance unrefined. Acidic secrets in my brain, regret conceals the source, the recollection muddled up, the water churning deep. I try to choose a history, forget my manners' cause, become a master who selects the memories to keep. Associated feelings, yet from emptiness emerge, like liquids from the aquifer above the surface seep. But tell me, my arachnid friend, who visions wish to purge, are humans not restricted by reflections we deny, or can the lost vivacity in vacant eyes resurge? Dismissal is exhausting, and redemption is a lie, for using up the energy we pastless may become, a victim of avoidance, yet without the knowledge why. By gods, a conflict I recall before I acted numb, deciding whether lost delights I ought to praise or grieve, to eulogize the bird betrayed or mock the mistress glum. She died of plague, my sulky spouse, undignified like Eve. Nay, sorry, that humongous hag of whom I did not care. Or was I wrong to plough the fields, her majesty deceive? In words of anger I was trapped, they squeezed me like a snare, the fury once unleashed towards my ever-patient wife, suppressing my enjoyment like the gallows of despair. Or did the wench asphyxiate, expire because of strife? Why should I try to recreate her soul with ugly names, when words could make the world anew, inform a better life? A rock remains a rock, despite the alchemistic claims, but people are transmutable, since the lovers whom we praise are beautified by confidence, the damsels and the dames. Identities are shattered or supported by a phrase, encouraged or diminished in the explanations penned. We pull the leash, escape the bond, behaving like estrays, depending still on rationals, reactions of a friend. I cannot make the tales cohere, rewrite, revive the trust, incorporate a fascist view and find a peaceful end. I live among impressions of the arguments unjust, the past a vortex, life portrayed as times of lashing out, the images a whirling mass, atonement undiscussed. The bitter taste implying that I curses used to spout. I need the clues to reconstruct the husband I have been, but little has survived except my ignorance and doubt, a conscience in a portrait scene, belligerent, unclean. I see the ceiling, spreading cracks, revealing us the form of autumn leaves, the birds and trees, the crimson and the green, are summers with a vibrant hue, the winter showers warm, and trust we built with beauty shared, dismantled in a blink, the shelter crumbling, torn apart by passions like a storm. The sludge returns, I barely breathe, my brain begins to sink. Where is the maiden milking goats, the princess in her fur? Who was the witch I wished to drown? I feel but cannot think. Please take your voices out of here. I nothingness prefer to ripples that your presence makes, to pictures on the stone, these memories of who we were, the thoughts I need to blur. We shuffled down the squalid path and left the beast to drone, the tongue to lick the iron bars, the teeth to bite the door, the mind to pick a history success achieved alone. Expecting courage is the skill to transience ignore, malnourished but autonomous, he shadows tried to eat. I cannot loathe the limber legs, the simple eyes abhor, the spider who consumed himself, my twin in self-deceit.